Picture your morning, you twist a handle, and clean hot water shows up like it's no big deal. You squeeze paste onto a brush, scrub your teeth, step under a hot stream of water, lather up, rinse, swipe on deodorant, and pull on laundered clothes. And you still need coffee before you feel like a functioning person. Now delete all of it. No shower, no toothbrush, no washing machine, no mirror telling you that you look fine actually. Just you, your skin, some animal hides, a fire, and a handful of other humans dealing with the exact same problem you are. So here's the question everyone wants answered. Did ancient humans smell bad? Short answer? Probably yes, by our standards. But that answer is way too easy. The real question is bigger than that. How did humans survive for hundreds of thousands of years without a single bottle of shampoo? And the answer is a lot weirder and a lot smarter than they were just dirty. Let's start with the part of you that's never actually clean. Right now, your mouth is hosting hundreds of species of bacteria. Brushing doesn't wipe them out, it just keeps the population in check. Toothpaste isn't magic, it's crowd control, with mint flavoring. Ancient humans had none of that. No toothbrush, no floss, no tiny electric device judging you for stopping after 20 seconds. And yet, when scientists study ancient teeth, the story isn't primitive people had terrible mouths. It's actually more interesting than that. A lot of dental damage shows up later in the timeline once farming kicks in. Before agriculture, people ate a wide mix of food: meat, roots, nuts, berries, leaves, whatever the land handed them. Then farming arrived and the menu narrowed: more grain, more soft starches, more food that sits in your teeth, feeding bacteria all day long. The moment humans got good at baking bread, they also got good at growing cavities. Not exactly a slogan you'd put on a bakery sign. But ancient people weren't just sitting there losing teeth and shrugging. Long before plastic toothbrushes existed, people used sticks. Sounds ridiculous until you remember what a toothbrush actually is. A stick with bristles. A frayed twig could scrape plaque, clean between teeth, and sometimes deliver useful plant chemistry while it worked. Chewing sticks like miswak have been studied for exactly this, and they hold up surprisingly well. A stick wasn't primitive. It was a toothbrush that never got a marketing budget. Now for the part everyone actually clicked for. Body odor. Here's the twist. Fresh sweat barely smells like anything. It's mostly water and salt. The smell shows up later when bacteria living on your skin start breaking those compounds down. So body odor was never really about sweating. It was about skin, bacteria, heat, smoke, clothing, and time, all stacking on top of each other. Imagine walking all day, carrying tools, sitting near a fire, sleeping on hides, wearing the same wrap for a week straight, with zero soap anywhere in sight. Yeah, you'd smell stronger than a modern person. But stronger doesn't automatically mean dirty, and this is where our imagination gets unfair to them. We picture cavemen as filthy because they lacked our products, but products were never the same thing as intelligence. Your ancestors didn't need a commercial with slow-motion blue liquid to understand clean versus not clean. They knew rot smelled wrong, bad water smelled wrong, a festering wound smelled wrong. In a world with no labels, no expiration dates, and no hospitals, your nose was the technology. It answered real survival questions. Can I eat this? Can I drink that? Is this person getting sick? Smell wasn't embarrassing. It was data. And one of the strongest smells clinging to ancient humans probably wasn't sweat at all. It was smoke. Fire wasn't a weekend hobby. It was heat, light, cooking, protection, and the literal center of social life. Live near fire every single day, and smoke gets into your hair, your skin, your clothes, your bedding, your food, everything. To us, that might read as dirty. To them, it probably smelled like safety. One of the oldest human scents on record might genuinely be campfire, not perfume. Campfire, honestly, as ancient smells go, that's not a bad one to be known for. Clothing complicated things further. A hide kept the cold off. A wrap protected your skin. But after days of sweating, walking, and sitting near smoke, that same cloak developed a personality. Not a pleasant one. A strong one. We actually have evidence for exactly when clothing became a regular human habit, and it comes from a very unexpected witness. Lice. Body lice are different from head lice. They don't live in hair, they live in fabric, hiding in seams and laying eggs in the fibers. For body lice to evolve at all, humans had to be wearing clothes consistently enough to give them a place to live. Genetic studies suggest that split between head lice and body lice happened tens of thousands of years ago, maybe earlier. That doesn't hand us the first shirt ever made, but it tells us something funny. The moment humans invented clothing, parasites moved in like tiny rent-paying tenants. The first wardrobe didn't just start fashion, it started real estate. Even the ground people slept on wasn't random. At Sabudu Cave in South Africa, archaeologists found plant bedding roughly 77,000 years old, built from sedges and aromatic plants. At Border Cave, even older bedding turned up linked to grass and ash. Ash matters here because fine ash makes it harder for crawling insects to move through. People were choosing sleep materials, managing pests, and using fire byproducts to make camp less miserable. This wasn't a mattress showroom, but it was absolutely a strategy. That's the part modern people miss. Ancient hygiene wasn't really chasing the question, do I smell fresh? It was chasing, will this make me sick? Will this attract insects? Is this water safe? Is this wound getting worse? Completely different definition of clean. Hair tells a similar story. No shampoo doesn't mean no maintenance. Hair got combed, picked through, braided, cut, even smoked. We have ancient combs to prove it, including one from Lachish, about 3,700 years old, carved with an inscription asking it to remove lice from hair and beard. Which is incredible for two reasons. One, lice were a big enough problem to deserve being written down. Two, one of humanity's oldest written messages is basically, please get these bugs out of my hair. History really is majestic sometimes. And grooming wasn't purely practical. In a lot of primate groups, grooming builds trust. It takes closeness, it takes time, and it signals, I'm close enough to touch you and you're letting me. For early humans, checking each other's hair and skin for parasites was probably both hygiene and bonding wrapped into one activity. Less spa day, more, please inspect my scalp before I lose my mind together as a group. Water access depended entirely on geography. A river valley looked nothing like a desert. A cold steppe looked nothing like a tropical forest. So there was never one universal ancient bathing routine, but there also wasn't a universal refusal to touch water either. No bathroom didn't mean no washing. It meant washing depended on climate, season, and access. Soap itself is old, but humans are way older than soap. The earliest soap-like materials trace back to ancient Mesopotamia, but people had already been sweating, hunting, healing, and surviving for an enormous stretch of time before that. So they improvised. Sand could scrub, ash could cut grease, clay could absorb oil, water could carry dirt away. None of it was bottled and branded, but none of it was nothing either. Then there's the part nobody wants to bring up but everybody secretly wonders about. Toilet habits. Ancient humans handled it the way every other animal on the planet does. They went outside. But they were smarter about it than that sounds, because waste sitting near food, water, or sleeping space is genuinely dangerous. You don't need a microscope to notice a camp gets worse when waste piles up too close. You just need a nose and one extremely bad week. Researchers studying sites like El Salt in Spain have found traces connected to Neanderthal waste management roughly 50,000 years ago, suggesting people were already thinking about where waste should and shouldn't go. Small mobile groups had one advantage that crowded cities later lost completely: space. If a camp turned unpleasant or unsafe, people packed up and left. A medieval city couldn't exactly stand up and relocate because the streets started to smell. Density, not stupidity, is what eventually created the worst sanitation disasters in human history. So, did ancient humans smell bad? By our standards, probably, often. Smokier, earthier, more animal, more human. But here's the part that flips the whole question around. Ancient humans might smell strange to us. We would smell completely insane to them. Soap, shampoo, deodorant, laundry detergent, perfume, fabric softener. To us, that's just Tuesday. To someone from deep history, that combination might read like a chemical storm wearing pants. Clean isn't just a smell. Clean is a culture. And our culture has trained us to expect almost zero body odor, ever, which is an incredibly recent and honestly kind of unusual standard in the full span of human history. For most of that history, bodies were simply more present. Smoke after fire, sweat after effort, earth after walking. Not hidden, not sprayed over, not sealed under 6 layers of product. Just present the same way it still is for plenty of working people, athletes, and outdoor laborers today, minus the panic about it. So no, ancient humans were not clean the way we are. But they also weren't filthy idiots stumbling through history. They had water, fire, plants, ash, sand, combs, grooming, and thousands of years of paying close attention to their own bodies and surroundings. They noticed which stick made their mouth feel better, which bedding kept the bugs away, which water smelled wrong before it made someone sick. Your ancestors weren't dirty in the simple way we like to imagine. They were just working with completely different tools, and some of those tools deserve a lot more credit than we usually give them. If you liked digging into this one, stick around. Subscribe for more deep dives into how ancient humans actually lived, survived, and yes, smelled.